Yes, we've previously looked at a drawing in isometric view, and in this video we're going to look at another drawing. This is it. It's of an ink bottle stand. It's given in orthographic projection, and we are required to draw an isometric view of it, or an isometric drawing with corner A nearest to you. So meaning wherever we have the intersection of the axes, that is where we should put corner A. Also, hidden details are not required in this part. So yeah, this is just slightly complicated from what we've previously seen, but let me show you how to do it. So we'll go over to AutoCAD, and before we do that, we have to first observe the maximum length. Well, the method I'm using here is what's normally called the box method, not using the offset method. Offset, you would start off side by side until you complete the whole drawing. With the box method, it means you start off with a box and then start cutting off parts which are not required, and whatever remains is the required object. So with the box method, you make sure the box or a cuboid or cube or whichever the object fits in has the maximum length of the object and the maximum height of the object, which is 38 here, and the maximum width, which is 80. So that is we're going to construct a cuboid first with these dimensions. It should be 100 by 38 by 80. Okay, so let's go over to AutoCAD, and okay, so make sure you're working in the isoplane. If you don't remember how to do that, you just click here. You should be able to see isometric drafting. It should be ticked. If it's not ticked, tick it so that you're able to see this symbol here, over here. So simply toggle the symbol on or off. If it's off, then you are doing the normal 2D drafting. Okay, so if you highlight it, if it's active, it should change color. Mine shows red and green. Yeah, and if you want to switch between the planes, you can press F5 to change plane. So that is the top plane, this is the right plane. So left, top, right, or you can still change planes from here. Okay. So I'm starting with the left plane. Okay, I normally start with line from here, then there, then the one that comes vertically downwards. So maybe before I continue, let me move this away from our UCS, the coordinate system. Just move it some other place. So I'll put it, it doesn't really want to be moved so far, so I'll just put it here, and I'll draw the next object over here. So we'll start off with the width should be in the left, or on the left. So that is 80 on the left. Then on the right we should have 110. Then upwards we should have 38. So I'll draw something like the angle should be 330 or 30 degrees to the horizontal, depending on how you are counting your angle, because mine are counterclockwise. So if yours are clockwise, then you should be able to show I'm not really sure, but you should find a way to count those angles. Okay, so I'm going to type 80 so that's 80, and this side at 30 degrees we need 110. So make sure that angle is 30 degrees, type 110. Yeah, that's 110. Then vertically upwards. Okay, you notice I've not started with the axes, because it's not really important. What's important is knowing the directions. So vertically upwards, I'm doing 38. Then I'll come back here, same angle, it should be, okay, I'm trying to track that angle, so make 180 plus 30, that should be your angle if you're counting counterclockwise. If you're counting clockwise, I'm not really sure what it will be showing you, but you can still make that calculation. So 180 plus 30, it should give us 210. That's what I'm having here. So instead of typing 110 again, I'm going to simply track that point. But I have to make sure they meet at 210 and 90 degrees. So you make sure you're looking at 90 degrees and 210. You can click and click. Then I'll go leftwards at 150, and same thing, I'll just track this point. I don't need to type the distances anymore. So I should have 90 and 150. Click, also click. Okay, now we are left with okay, only 2 lines, and that box is finished. So I need to go this side at 30 degrees and then also track that point. So I'll track that point, that end point. Okay, so this angle should be 30 and the other angle should be 150. So look for 30, the intersection of 30 and 150, which is over there. So when you see that point, you can click. I know this is very tricky, so you have to be very careful. Alternatively, you can just type the distances, but I'm not doing that. Okay, so I'm looking for that end point. So if you missed the previous video, whatever is helping me track all those angles is this setting. Okay, I need to check, it's under tracking settings. So it's by default is set to track object snap tracking settings. Okay, under that subsection you should have track orthogonally only, but I want to track using all polar angle settings. So all angles I should be able to track in whichever direction. So that's what I'm doing. Otherwise, if it's only orthogonally only, then you're only able to track the vertical lines and the horizontal lines. But now we've included all polar angles. So now we are done with the box. Now let's cut out whatever we don't need. So we should have 60 in the middle and we have 90 in the middle. So this is 60 by 90. So that's what we are going to do first. We draw something inside that is 60 by 90. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit of math, and this is 80 from here to there. So I need to cut off 60. The balance is 20. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. So I'll put 10 either side. So along that point, I should type 10. Oh, I need to select the line tool. So along that point, I'm going to type 10 to get my starting point, and then at 30 degrees distance is 110, but what's most important is the angle 30 degrees. So I'll click, and I'll do the same thing here. I'm going to track from this side, or you could as well track from the line we've just drawn and type 60 to get the starting point, but I'll just simply type 10, then another starting point, then the angle is 30, click. So let me do this very fast because it shouldn't be that hard. And this is 90 and 110, so subtract from 110, we have 20 still, and same thing, 10, 10. Okay, so for that I can even just track here. Okay, I need to hit escape, then start over. So along that line I need 10, then along 330, click, then from that point coming towards here I need 10, so 10 is my starting point, and we have the angle is 330. Okay, so now what I have to do is join from that point to somewhere along that line. Okay, so let me check that distance. It's supposed to be 18. Okay, so at 18 from here we should be able to join to those points. So I'll get the line tool, start from here, I'm going upwards. Now because we are tracking all polar angles, that's why it's usually off, so it's very tricky. First deactivate midpoint, and that, and that, and that. Okay, we don't need them at the moment. So from that point along 90 degrees I'll type 18 to get a starting point, then I'm joining here. Okay, and since this is a straight surface, a flat surface, it's not smooth, so I should be able to see a line. Okay, that edge I should be able to see it, just like I'm seeing it here in the plan. Oh, where? Here. And it's the same edge here that I'm talking about, so I should be able to see it. So what I'll do, I'll just use the line tool, and I'm not going to have to measure anything. I'll just use the line and draw a line around it, then from that point I'll just connect here. You notice I don't need to measure anymore. Okay, and still from that point I'm going to connect a point here. Surprisingly is in line with whatever was already there, so let's leave it at that. Okay, so let me get rid of some lines, whichever lines are not important, let me get rid of them, and then we can okay, so yeah, one more thing, let me trim this, because I'm supposed to draw a circle, so it's better to trim so that I can easily find the midpoint. So trim, and trim. Okay, and there are too many lines over there, so that one is on top, so I can't see the one behind, so we can leave it like that. Now the other thing is to draw the circle of diameter 40. It should be right in the middle, and the depth of this is 20, only that hidden details are not required, but I'll just for this sake I'll include it. So 40, so yeah, 40, diameter of 40, and right in the middle. So make sure midpoint is activated, and then yeah, we are using the previous method, axis end. Okay, so you click there and then choose axis end, creating an sort of an ellipse. Then you have to remember to select iso circle. If you don't, you won't get the kind of circle you want. Alternatively, you can just press I and press enter. So it's an iso circle. Now select the center should be midpoint of these the two midpoints where they intersect with my angles. So one angle should be 330 and the other one should be 210. Well, depending on how you're counting the angles, I'm not really saying it should be 330 and 210. It all could at some point be 150, depending on how you've chosen your midpoints on the lines, or which lines you've chosen to take the midpoint references. So mine are supposed to meet there, 330 and 210. So click there. Now you notice the circle is not the way it's supposed to be, so for that press F5. You don't have to, okay, you don't have to release it. So as it's still active, press F5 to change the plane. As you're drawing it on top, so it should be the top plane. Okay, as you can see in the command window, it says isoplane top. Otherwise we also have right, if you're drawing it on the right plane, but you're drawing it on the top plane. So it has a diameter of, so press D for diameter and then specify the diameter, which is 40. Okay, and you're done. Now I'm going to displace the circle. To make the hole, I'll just copy and paste a displaced copy downwards 20 millimeters. So make sure you copy. Okay, I need to select, I need to highlight center, and okay, I clicked accidentally, so let me do it again. Copy, and if you point on any point on the circle, that center mark for the circle should be active. So select it as your base point and make sure you're moving at vertically downwards. So just make sure the angle is 270. Well, I have too many angles, so you can always go to polar track settings and change that. So at that angle I'll type 20, and I think I have far too many copies, so I'm not sure which one is which. Let me undo. Okay, let me undo and then copy again. So along 270, just type 20. You're displacing it 20 and then escape. Okay, so this other one should be hidden except for that part over there. There's a part that is visible, so I think we can forget the hidden part, because I thought this part won't be visible. Okay, but if you're interested in the hidden part, you would have to draw that line to mark the hole, but for that you need to make sure quadrant is active and then draw a line. Also draw a line like that. Okay, that line will be tangential, only that these circles are kind of deformed, so we use quadrant and not tangent. Okay, if it was a 2D drawing, then you use tangent instead, but here we are using quadrant. Okay, so this would be hidden all the way to that point, and the only way to do that, you would have to trim and then make a fresh copy of the same circle and put it there and then make it hidden. Okay, yeah, alright, so let me do that as well. So I'll make another copy, and I'm copying that point. I'll just paste it over the existing circle, so type 20, and yeah, I've already put it there. So now there are two circles there, so that if I use the trim tool, actually not so fast, I need to be sure which part I'm going to trim, because yeah, okay, so there's one circle on top of the first one, so I need to trim the first one, the one which is on top. I'm going to trim this side to that point, so that we remain with okay, you will see what I mean. So I'm going to trim here, 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 and here. Okay, yeah, it looks like I haven't done anything, but I've actually done something, so let me hide this. That is when you see what I've done. Okay, that is what I've done, and yeah, I don't want that green part to be visible, so I'm going to have to trim it as well. Okay, so before I do that, let me move this a little bit upwards so that I trim the green part. Okay, so yeah, that's why usually hidden details are not required. I'm trimming instead. So I want to move that one, so let me just move. I'll select just the center, so I'll move it vertically upwards. A distance of 10 is enough. Then I'll move it back 10. Then I'm going to trim again. So I want to trim off that. Okay. Now I have to move this back down. Right. So type MOV and specify I'm moving the center. So it should be 270, so type 10. Okay, so I've moved it back, and also make these ones hidden. There's a white part there, we don't need it. Okay, so yeah, that is our drawing. Only that okay, I'm going to make everything an outline, so hold shift and deselect what you don't want outlined. Okay, so I don't want that outlined, I want everything else outlined. Right, so that is what it's supposed to be. there's another white dot here. Okay, so now that's our object. Okay, and of course if we are to do all hidden details, these are the lines, but I'm only doing the one that goes down, that the depression or the hole. Okay, that's the only thing I want to show hidden. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Right.